Hello and welcome to another episode of Club Flashpoint, a monthly game club podcast where every month we play a new game and then we talk about it. I am your co-host, Faden Cross, and with me is, now I think we can say officially, you're committed into this.
Yeah, you sucked me in. You pulled me down.
I pulled you down.
Here I am.
I broke you down. I asked you a million of times like a very insistent incel. And here you are. Uncle.
Yes. Commitment has awoken, and Uncle is here probably to stay, friends. Let's erase the probably.
Yeah.
Uncle is here because this is a wonderful place to be, where we play games that are sometimes great, sometimes not, and we always have fun.
You know, here's the thing. Every single game we played in the last few months have been amazing, including Deus Ex.
Yes, objectively, you're right, of course.
Now, Uncle.
Yes.
Besides the game club that we like to play every month, we also like to play different games sometimes.
We do.
I mean, okay, you say we do, but I am saying I do. So what have you played this month?
I played a different legendary lord in my favorite game that I mostly play. You know, listeners, this month has been a month in which Uncle needed some comfort.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And
I've been cooking a lot of mac and cheese, so I get this.
Definitely very similar vibes. The squishy noises of mac and cheese are right at home in the campaign I played in Total War Warhammer 3, because I played as Tamarkan, the Maggot Lord.
Is this Nurgle?
This is very Nurgle. This is as Papa Nurgle as it gets, folks. And if you don't know Warhammer, give that a quick Google, and you'll have an aesthetic understanding of what I was playing.
Actually, here's the thing. I'm going to stop. Define Nurgle for me, because me, personally,
Yes.
Faden, is confused.
Okay, so Papa Nurgle is one of the 4 chaos gods in the Warhammer universe. Nurgle is the god of disease and pestilence and decay.
So famine and pestilence rolled up into one?
Yes, but also life and death and change and growth and stasis.
So the seasons.
The seasons, in many ways, cycles of growth and decay, hope and despair. And what's wonderful about Nurgle is he's the most hideous, the most disgusting, the most monstrous of the Chaos Gods in appearance and aspect, and also the most jovial and loving.
Okay, I was going to say this. So I
Yes.
saw a video
Yes.
of a Nurgle fortress, and there is just growth and contusions on a wall
Oh, yeah, it's
of
beautiful.
just happy-looking fucking people.
Oh, yeah, everybody's having a great time in this horrible hell that is the Nurgle's garden.
Wait.
Yeah, yes, Nurgle's realm within the Chaos Realms is a garden. He grows mostly fungal things. There are parallels between this game I played this month and Total War. And cycles of growth and decay. Cycles of prosperity and difficulty.
Yeah.
All very powerful within Nurgle's realm. And
How does it manifest gameplay-wise? That's my curiosity.
It's something that I actually really like, is how flavorful, as disgusting as the flavors are.
Isaac curse for me.
This specific faction is, especially with the new update. So this is, I justified this being a new game because this is the new DLC for, the latest DLC for this game. And there were some pretty significant gameplay changes for this faction specifically.
What was the most significant? If you had to choose one.
I would tie two together. The plague system you use, because within this grand strategy game, you craft plagues to unleash on other factions. They heal.
All right, Moses, settle down.
That's beautiful, though. It helps and heals your pestilent followers, and it harms the enemy factions.
Oh, that's sick. Okay,
they spread between armies. They spread between settlements.
Is it like a attack debuff? Like, they deal 25% less damage. Is that how it manifests?
Yes. So you choose symptoms to string together on this web, this interconnected web of symptoms that slightly modulates and changes every turn. So you can't necessarily craft the same plague several turns in a row.
Oh, you have to create different ones.
Yes.
And you like close out options for the future run.
You spend specific resources called infection. So every new infection you cause in a different army or through the end of a battle or the resettlement of a new location gives you infections, which you spend on creating new plagues in Nurgle's Garden, or accelerating the growth of your buildings, which is one of the other cool gameplay features of Nurgle. Is you have buildings, like in many strategy games, you level them up, you make them stronger.
But they're trees?
And yes, in Nurgle's Garden, it's all trees and plants, and they grow and they decay. So they get better, and then they get worse.
Then they just
they get
drop
better,
off.
and then they get worse.
Interesting.
And they dumbed it down a little bit with this update
What do you mean
in a way that increases improves the gameplay. Because there were certain structural features that really held this faction back in terms of growth and funding their armies.
Okay.
Before this update, and so now it's just more workable. They simplified a few things. Anyway, I loved this campaign because it really stretches you because of the location of your campaign's starting point. You have many different enemies surrounding you on all sides.
So you feel like surrounded at the start. You have to
absolutely
be very scrappy to survive.
And your goal is also to invade and dominate the entire world. This is a campaign specifically designed for taking control of the world.
For the domination sickos.
Absolutely.
This is for the doms out there.
Oh, yes. This is a power fantasy. Everything in Total War is a power fantasy. And in this game, you are the Maggot Lord, taking control of all the forces of chaos, either through hook or by crook, because you can actually ally with other chaos factions, which is sometimes hard to do. But they can be united in your unified vision of domination.
So get them into the hive mind life.
Yes, and you improve your relations with specific factions and specific sub-commanders within your army by attacking and destroying and damaging enemies they specifically hate. So, as opposed to world, perhaps, where you invest in your friendships by helping people and making your community stronger, this is a world in which you invest in your relationships with horrible monsters as they seek to destroy specific sections of the ordered world.
Look, I love the iconoclast. I love just hating. I love the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like, that's the entire philosophy of this.
Then you would love this campaign. If you could get into the grand strategy, insane learning curve of figuring out how to play the fucking Total War series, then I would recommend it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of cool new units, and I highly recommend it if you can get over the price.
Expensive as shit.
It's an expensive game to get into, for sure.
Games are too expensive.
The games are too expensive, and if you haven't been playing this game, this is one of the most expensive to get into. There are a lot of DLC to catch up on. But if you can get into it, if you can commit hundreds of hours for a single one campaign, which, by the way, they're about to hit 100 unique campaigns for this game.
Christ.
Just about to hit that 100 number. So, you're in for thousands of hours of potential gameplay if you can get into the world and if you can get into the gameplay.
That's why this hits for you, right? This is your forever game.
This is one of my forever games.
Until
for sure.
Total Warhammer 3.
This is Total Warhammer 3. Until Total Warhammer 40K is what's coming next. It's more than a rumor now. It's almost definitely happening. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I love the 40K universe and the aesthetic, and more than anything, that's honestly getting to role play as a commander of a world dominating, power hungry, monstrous force of evil. That's a fun fantasy to play.
I love being Empire and homogenizing the world.
Oh, God, I don't know why, but I also love dismantling it and fighting back. And maybe we'll get to talk about that today.
Who doesn't love fighting back against Empire and its dominance of technology and humanity and biopolitics?
Absolutely. So, Faden, I hear that we like to play a game every month. That's not the game we're supposed to play. Perhaps you could tell me if you've played such a game.
Okay, here's the honest to God truth. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
I've been gaming.
Oh yeah? No, I wouldn't guess it ever.
I know. I've been depressed and gaming.
Yeah. There's a vibe, folks. There's a vibe.
There's a fucking vibe.
It's been a month.
The vibe shift around here, as obviously by the absence of someone, is wild.
By the way, friends, we should note our dear friend Dale Flashpoint is coming back.
Yep.
This is a temporary reprieve from our wonderful, wonderful presence that we miss dearly.
Did you miss someone saying this game is a twin stick shooter? Well, guess what? We'll have that next month, 100% for sure. Or do we have a jump button? Well, don't worry. Dale Flashpoint will disagree.
Yeah, the voice will return. We all miss it, and we love it, and we love our friend Dale.
Yeah, it's like your favorite Marvel movie saying X will return, but actually you're excited about it as opposed to dreading it.
Exactly. That's exactly what
this is. That's exactly it. So I have a plethora of options laid out before you, Uncle. So, do you want to hear about Liza P., a Bloodborne Pinocchio game?
Ooh.
Do you want to hear about Cosmo Cheats at Poker, one of the best card games I've ever played on a console? Or do you want to hear about Potion Craft, an alchemy simulator? I'll give you a fourth option, and that's Hades 2, an early access game. Breaking my rule of never talking about early access games.
Ooh. As much as I love breaking the rules and the absolute perfect wisdom of alchemy, I must say that I want to hear about this Bloodborne Pinocchio. Liza P., tell me, please.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Come to me. Feel alright. Just dance with me all through the night. Turn it out. Close to you. I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you. Give it to me, baby. Feel alright. I feel good. Just want you to step with me, dance with me, here with me, feel alright.
So, to start off, though, I want to give a quick shout-out to specifically Cosmo Cheats at Poker, which is an exceptional game. And, yes, I can say there is some slight bias because Twitter mutuals with a person who created it, but that doesn't really honestly matter because it captures the thing I like about poker, which is cheating. Cheating is great in poker. Every game should have a cheat option if it's a game about poker. This is what's wrong with, like, the fucking poker night with Brock Sampson and GLaDOS. But Liza P.
I forgot about that.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Fucking poker night, Telltale. It's Telltale specifically, too, so there's salmon backs.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay.
That game's weird.
Now I almost wish I asked for that, but Liza P.
Liza P. So, do you know what Bloodborne is?
Yes, I do know what Bloodborne is.
Yeah, so what if you had Pinocchio in an eldritch horror, grim dark fantasy going through this French/slightly dramatic city and stopping a puppet revolution?
So I would say that the Pinocchio story is inherently grimdark, but beyond that, I would say give it to me. I want to know about this.
Yeah, so this is a wild game. People were talking about it when it came out. It was really weird. someone took Pinocchio and made Bloodborne? What's up with that? And the thing that's really glorious about this game is the weapon system is kind of one of my preferred weapon system in one of these Dark Souls hardcore action games where you are fighting these impossible odds, these enemies who are huge with a lot of health, slowly chipping them away as you try to survive their flurry of assaults, attacks, just absolute destruction that they cause. And in Lies of P, you get to break your weapons in half, essentially, and combine hilts and weapons. At one point, I had an axe that was attached to a rapier handle, so I was doing rapier strikes with an axe.
This is a very Faden game.
This is sicko mode Faden. I was very surprised how much the combat really worked with the style of game it was trying to do. I felt tense every time there was action going on, which that's the thing I like about these sort of like quote unquote hardcore. I don't think they're hardcore. The actual solution is you just level up a lot and you can wipe through everything really easily. They don't tell you that. Gamers don't want you to know about this one trick that makes Dark Souls easier.
Grinding. Nobody's ever heard of it.
Grinding. Nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody's ever played an RPG with grinding. Why would I ever do that?
I feel you though. I think that's what I like about Darkest Dungeon is the impact of combat.
Yeah.
Like the challenge.
Yeah, and it's this weird, welcome to the World Expo. We're going to show our puppets. Uh-oh, they went crazy. Oh, no. They're starting to kill innocent people. They broke the Grand Covenant, which means they will do no harm. It's very Isaac Asimov's like rules of robotics.
Yes.
One thing I think they're cowards for, in the demo, there used to be a sign that said APAB. APAB? Yeah, APAB. All puppets are bastards. Which, honestly, it actually hit because the cops were all puppets.
Excellent.
Yeah. There's a really interesting story about the city of Krot outsourcing all of its labor to puppets and how that actually kind of fucked them when the puppets revolted because they were in these positions of violence and power over the citizenry.
Okay.
And so they're able to wipe them out.
Incredible.
Yes, but it also includes characters who do like very obscure and opaque dialogue where they're just laughing and chortling. Oh, we went to Rosabella Street and there was a problem there.
Very Soulsborne.
It's
cryptic as fuck.
Cryptic as fuck, and it's beautiful. I think this is one of the few games where I see what they're trying to do. I see the influences that they're mimicking, and they understand it.
Nice.
Now, while I enjoyed it completely, there is also a funny spoiler, but cliffhanger hook.
Okay.
So I'm gonna spoil Lies of P, everyone.
Yeah.
Warning. Skip until you hear music for the next for the game of the month.
There you
go. The end of Lies of P, I decided to, no, Geppetto, you can't harvest my heart so you can revive your son. That was Geppetto's entire goal.
Of course.
And destroyed the entire city because of it.
Of course.
And you have to assert your own humanity.
Yes.
To fight against Geppetto's puppet, Romeo.
Excellent.
It's great. And it just sounds ridiculous now that I think about it.
No. This else makes perfect sense.
So you do that and everything, and there is a character who seems like he's part of this one faction, but actually he's a spy. You find out at the end credits, where he is looking over a dossier and calling someone in, we investigated a case in Krot. I think it's all handled now. Now I'm moving on to the next target. And I hope she doesn't elude me. We're really looking for Dorothy right now. And so we get a scene of of ruby red slippers walking into the skyline of Krot and just like tapping 3 times. And the next game is fucking Wizard of Oz and Dorothy.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It truly is honestly amazing. It feels like the Tim McGraw Alice, like Tim McGee, Alice in Wonderland or whatever, the really dark fantasy Alice game.
Tim Burton?
No, not Tim Burton. It's a video game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the Tim McGraw Alice.
Yes. Alice with long black hair.
And was killing people in an action combat game.
Yes.
It feels like a revitalization of that.
Okay.
Which I really appreciate. I need more games that
I know that was a cult classic, and that's all I know about it.
Lies of P, I think, should be up there.
Okay.
To be completely truthful, I really loved. You'd have a puppet arm with different weapons. I had a long range sniper.
Okay.
That would just put like a explosive on them that would beep 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 and then blow up.
Okay. Fun weapons.
Yep.
Love that.
And the last weapon I had was this dragoon spear, where I would do whirlwind attacks with it. But I also had a katana.
Of course.
If I need to attack fast enemies. High technique.
Wow. What a menagerie of weapons.
I'm not even telling you about the umbrella, the wrench, the chainsaw, the throwing spinning blade chainsaw where you literally just toss it and it's a chakram of blades.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the game has a lot of cool weapons to fit your different styles, and you can break and mix things.
Not counting the breaking and mixing, these are very Warhammer weapons.
No, it's very steampunk weapons in general. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Anytime I
setting.
hear chainsaw melee weapons, that's all I can think is Warhammer.
I think of Gears of War personally, but
Okay.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I didn't hear Warhammers before Gears of War. Is it time? Is it time to talk about our game of the month?
I think it is.
Right, so here at Club Flashpoint, we have a special little, this is our unique gimmick.
Yes.
We like to do this.
Yeah. The all-important podcast gimmick.
Yeah,
And-
everyone has to have one,
Yes.
and this is ours.
This is at least one. Maybe we'll develop more. I think twin stick shooter is a
That's a different gimmick.
that's more of a
bit.
motif.
That's a
That's a bit.
But here we like to do something called an elevator pitch, where one of us has to describe the game as if we are pitching this to an executive in an elevator. We have 30 seconds to do so, and I believe
It's not my turn.
it's not your turn. You did it last month. It is my turn.
Yes. So,
You should probably pull out your phone and bring a
I
timer.
should probably pull out my phone.
You never have to do
take
this.
out
This
a
is new for
timer.
you.
Yeah, new responsibilities. It's all part of growth, friends.
Yeah,
And
you know
that's-
what?
That's
Life-
thematic.
Yeah, life is a... You know what? It really is.
All right. Well, you have 30 seconds on the clock. Faden, tell us, why should we develop this game, Citizen Sleeper?
Oh, I'm going... Okay, so Citizen Sleeper is a game about... It's really important to realize that capitalism inherently is built upon exclusion. And in exclusions, it can exploit different sorts of people. So, example, people with disability who have to rely on a medical system of capitalism to survive and subsist. And so we have to understand what it is like to do that, but also we're doing that on a space station in the year who knows fucking what, and we are having advanced technologies.
Excellent timing. Very nice.
I mean, you cheated. You let me have the timer. We don't normally do that. That's the funny bit.
I'm glad I gave it to you because that was a wonderful pitch. I'm developing this game.
Yeah, right? For real. Who are you?
Yes.
I need to know your character. Who's developing this? Am I fucked or is this cool?
I'm happy-go-lucky elevator developer. I am the developer who works in the elevator, and I approve this game.
Well, fuck the elevator developer. I mean,
The executive developer.
I'm totally
who works
fucked.
in the elevator.
Yeah, this month we played Citizen Sleeper, developed by Jump Over the Age and published by Fellow Traveler. Came out in 2022, and this was my second time playing this game. I played it when it first came out. Absolutely loved it.
In some ways, this is my second time playing this game.
In some ways.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But yeah, so I absolutely love this game. We needed a game that was kind of short but very impactful this month, and I chose Citizen Sleeper for Uncle to experience.
And I'm so glad you did.
Yeah?
This is a game I needed, never knew I needed. This is a game so much like one of my all-time favorite games, Disco Elysium, but also a great connection between other parts of our life, other games we play outside of this podcast on the tabletop.
Yeah, and also like ideology. It's nice to have a game of good politics.
Absolutely does this game have the best politics. This probably, of all the games I've ever played, this game has the politics that align with what I believe and feel the most, I think.
Yeah, and I think it accurately represents that. So what sort of politics are we talking about here?
We're talking about fucking communism, people. This is an incredible communist story.
Yeah.
If you choose to play it that way, which is absolutely what the game wants you to play.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You do the kind of that communist path and you are able to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's really weird. It's quite a bold choice to just go and make a world where forging communities that strengthen each other and support one another and seek to understand each other. What? Somehow that makes life more sustainable and fulfilling for everyone? What?
It increases relationships and like creates a sense of meaning into the world that isn't just shallow, I'm surviving the next day.
What the fuck? When I feel bad, helping other people makes me feel better? Huh? Yeah.
So let's like kind of hit the overview of this game. We play as someone called a sleeper.
Yes.
A sleeper has sold themselves. The original human has sold themselves to have their brain copied into these robots called sleepers.
Mm-hmm.
And the sleepers are not the original, they are just the copies, so they have to live with that as they do manual labor most of the time.
Yes, because you're just a copy. You're not a real person.
Nope, you're not a real person.
Intellectual property.
And so your sleeper escapes.
Mm-hmm.
Hitches a ride on a ship and finds himself upon this place called the Eye, a space station that has existed for a long time and will probably continue to exist just for the nature that people live here.
If you choose to help it.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get into that.
And I love this opening. So back to my connection with Disco. This is this awakening to your character, to who you are, starting at the very core root of, in Disco, your limbic system. And in this game, it's the core processes of your robot body and mind. Reawakening. It really is incredible how well the narration puts you in the body of this character. And there's no voice acting, friends. You're reading a book. And this is a good book.
It is a good book if you get the tone sometimes, which
we'll get to that.
We'll get to... Well, actually, let's talk about the writing.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A quick couple things. I keep coming back to this, listeners, if you've been listening to our other episodes. Uncle is neurodivergent.
Oh, what? You're neurodivergent and on this podcast?
Yeah, right. It's pretty unrelatable for the other people that we talk to, but and people who listen to us, I'm sure. I can't imagine any of you.
We have the most neurotypical listeners.
Yeah. Anyway, I have pretty severe ADHD and autism that in some ways affects the way I read and understand tone and mood, and without certain indicators outside of my reading experience, I can definitely misinterpret things sometimes. And at times in this game, because I didn't have those indicators, I did struggle a little bit with understanding what a character was really communicating to me. But that only happened a couple times, I think. And then the reason I brought up the ADHD is because this is a game about task prioritization and resource management and keeping track of several different relationships simultaneously.
Yeah. It's expecting you to complete a social schedule.
Yes. And it, on the first playthrough, was very difficult.
And this is something I agree with. I played this game in 2022, and I had some difficulty of understanding my actions and how it affected the story.
Yes. I think I was so well trained by other games to assume that the game was going to work like that these stories will not intersect, that these are separate paths that I have to explore in separate playthroughs, and they do not interact.
What do you mean thematic cohesion? I've
Right.
never heard of it.
What do you mean a game about community in which there's an actual community? Yeah. And I will say that on the second playthrough, I had a much greater appreciation for all those things.
Yeah.
And it definitely helped me with the gameplay itself.
Yeah, you kind of laid hints of this. You had a first playthrough. Do you want to describe to me that first playthrough?
Yeah, I'll try to zoom through it so I don't go over too many story beats. Essentially, what I did was I spread myself way too thin, which is often what I do in real life, but also in most first game playthroughs. I spread myself way too thin. I try to do too many things simultaneously. I don't commit to enough of a specific kind of play. I'm trying to maximize, min-max, you know?
Yeah,
and
gamer mode.
You can do that in this game, but on your first playthrough, it's very difficult to anticipate what you're supposed to be doing and what certain resources are even for or could be for. So you might be wasting them for turns and turns and turns, not realizing you're supposed to use them for something else. But that's life also.
And it is, you know what?
And
that is life.
Before the podcast, we were talking about this a little bit. That's the frustrating things about this game aren't the frustrating things about life, and maybe that's okay.
Yeah, there's instances of disconnect about not cohesion, but what's the comprehension?
Yes,
where you understand something as this,
Yeah.
but the other people in the world understand it differently because they have a different perspective.
You only have your own perspective, and that's fundamentally limiting. And you could have every good intention, and every piece of information you could have received so far would tell you that this is the correct course of action, and you can still be wrong.
Yep.
And that is present in this game. I think for the most part they do a really good job signaling where you're supposed to be going if you're paying attention.
Yeah, and sometimes
if you're reading carefully.
And here's the thing. How many games demand of us to read that thoroughly?
Yeah.
To have a critical analysis of what we are explicitly reading. I think Citizen Sleeper achieves that if you stop
Yes.
and not just read but comprehend what it's saying. The path is clear. But if you just read, it's a little obscure.
We've been trained in so many ways to skim.
Yep.
Everything. Skim. Find the essential, the pure, cut it out, and take it. And this is a game that needs to be held in context with every element of the game.
I think I describe this as an economical sort of story. Nothing is said frivolously.
Yeah.
Not really. Even the frivolous things, yes, serve a purpose.
Yeah, every story beat, every emotional moment, whether it has something to do with the plot or not, is so impactful and important to the journey that it matters. And economical is good language for this, I think, because you very, very rarely, except for maybe in some cases in the DLC, you rarely, I think, are reading too much.
Yep.
It's just enough words to convey exactly what it is. And friends, if you don't know the kind of gameplay we're describing, if you've played a tabletop game before, it's like you have a really, really eloquent DM.
Yes.
Who is describing to you what is happening in this world as you play. And it is wonderful writing.
Yeah, you're on this space station that has a whole bunch of different stories going on within it, and you get to pick and choose what sort of stories you're invested in at that period. Mm-hmm. Also, you have dice rolls. Every time you wake up, you have, depending on how well your body is doing, you have a certain amount of dice rolls. And that's the other big thing about this game. Your body, as a sleeper, has planned obsolescence built inside of it. Yeah. So if a sleeper escapes their job, they need a certain sort of drug to stabilize their body so it doesn't deteriorate and can heal itself like a normal body.
Yep.
But a corporation tries to withhold that so nobody can escape. And you have to figure out, how do I live with this disability? Because it is classified as a disability in society. You're actively breaking down unless you have certain medicines. How do you sustain this disability and living on this eye while also trying to achieve your goals? And it's this constant balancing act.
Yes. And it's nice because your survival, your thriving, whether or not you're thriving, is essential to your ability to help other people.
Yep.
And so this is a game where you're not just working on community, you're not just constantly making sacrifices, which I think too many games these days, if you want to play a good guy, you have to sacrifice yourself constantly. You have to hurt yourself or take the option that wounds you in some way. And in this game, by participating in healing and growth, you can heal and grow yourself. And by healing and growing yourself, you can better help other people.
Exactly. I think that's that's the step. That's the step that most games don't take. They don't take the follow through of there's actually benefits to being human, to making connections and doing the base thing us as humans do, which is form connections and love. And this game is constantly about making who's your new best friend.
Yeah.
Who is the friend that you're making this week, this day, this cycle? Who are you hanging out with?
Very rarely do you see any kind of end result in mind for any new character you meet. Like, oh, this character will help me sustain my food intake. This character will someday help me unlock the ability to, be untraceable as a sleeper. A lot of these things are indicated early in your quest, in your quests, but you don't necessarily choose these options because it's necessary. You choose them for the characters.
I don't help Fang because I'm not looking for a tracker removal. I help Fang because he's adorable and he's trying to do the right thing.
Yes, and because he hates the fucking bureaucrats.
Yep.
And the corpos, more especially.
Oh,
yeah.
He hates corpos, and that makes him hotter.
Yeah. He's so good. So many great characters.
I think that would be the best way to take this game, right? Is if we just go character by character.
Absolutely. And I think we could avoid spoiling many of the story beats by just focusing on
Oh,
the
no.
characters.
Here at Club Flashpoint, we spoil
I don't want to spoil too much.
But that's, we're here to talk about it all.
Yes, we are. You're right.
So, we're going
This is a book worth talking about.
Yes. I want to talk about the whole thing. So, if you are thinking you want to try this game, you never heard it before, go and try it. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
So, on my list, I'm going to just go down this list I have of
Please.
every character.
Thank you.
Dragos.
The first guy you meet.
The first guy you meet on the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what you do, that makes sense.
Yes. Salvager. Great character for you to meet early on.
Old man, kind of just...
crotchety a little bit.
Yeah, crotchety. No, not a little bit.
Yeah. And secretive. And an opportunity to explore trust.
Yep.
Right away. Do you trust this man, or do you go behind his back to see what he's hiding from you?
Yeah, so he gives kind of a jumping off point where you are able to establish yourself on the eye by assisting him with breakdown jobs, breaking down ships, removing the scrap, getting paid.
And not talking about where these ships came from or why they're broken down.
And specifically the Winter's Light.
Yes.
So the Winter's Light is a ship that comes in that you feel a connection to. There's something in there that exists and that you want to go through. Did you explore Winter's Light at all, or did you just scrap it down?
So because I played this twice. Oh, and we never even mentioned why I had to play it twice. We started talking about it. We went somewhere else.
You know what? That's true. Why'd you play it twice?
Yeah, I had to play it twice because I scattered myself I spread myself way too thin, and then I started the DLC. I started the DLC content, not realizing it was the DLC content, absolutely mandatory as end game content. I started it way too early before I had finished literally anything else. and it made my game impossible. I went about 20 cycles trying to scrap it together, and I had to give up and start over, which was a lot of time sink. But anyway, because I did 2 playthroughs, I did try this both ways. The first time I didn't trust this guy. I usually am not very trusting character on my first playthrough of any game.
Well, also he's suspicious.
He
really
suspicious.
Tries to shut you down when you ask questions.
That's true.
But that's his philosophy is don't ask questions, just move about life.
Yes.
Survive.
And here's something else I didn't really consider while I was doing it. You have 2 options. You can explore the ins and outs of this ship that you're trying to break down and try to figure out what happened to it, or you can just break it down. And in my first playthrough, I tried to do both. and then realized that wasn't going to be able to happen.
Nope.
And then committed to the intel, and you find out that somebody took it out, and this was a ship transporting sleepers. So, yeah. And then you kind of find that out. Oh, you don't find out about the sleepers, but you find out that this is people getting shot down intentionally, even if you choose the scrapper.
Oh, you find out about sleepers. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, later. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the first guy.
Yeah, Dragos. If you investigate the Winter's Light situation, he kicks you out.
Yes.
Done with your ass.
Yes. And if you don't, he tells you it's not safe for you to stay here. You need to leave anyway.
Bye.
Yeah.
No matter what, always terminates. I did not know that. I've always investigated the Winter's Light, so I'm glad you experienced it the other way.
Yeah, I always, after my first playthrough, I thought, oh, maybe I'll just get to keep scrapping. Nope.
Game over. I like his symbiotic drone that hangs out with him, that is mentally linked to him.
Yeah, he's got a permanently installed VR headset on.
So cool.
Very cool design.
This can't be right. Oh. So my next notes say Essen ARP.
Oh.
The company that makes sleepers.
Yes.
You know, they're just a pharmaceutical company, really, and they just make sleepers. That's really it. And they have spies in a lot of places.
They do have spies, and they also have people who have left their care, who are living on the island, or left their company.
And unrelated, so I want to talk about the next character I met, Sabine.
Yeah, totally unrelated.
They are a doctor working with the Yadigan?
Yadigan, yeah.
Yadigan gang.
Yeah. Yes.
Yakuza.
Yes, the yang to the yin, that is the company that mostly runs this place.
Right, there's a union.
The union, yes.
Yeah, there's the Hargrave.
Hargraves, yeah.
Hargraves, yeah, the Hargraves union.
Havenage?
No, Havenage.
Yes.
Hargraves.
Havenage.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Havenage.
Yeah.
Havenage is 100% right.
Yeah. The union, and then the Yadigan, who are the street crime syndicate.
The Yakuza that checks the Communist Party.
Yes.
Yes. And yeah, Sabine is a doctor working for the Yadigan.
She's your supplier of your meds.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. They make this.
Yeah.
You know what? This is what I like about the game. Very pronoun forward. Doesn't explicitly tell you.
No.
And so if you're only going based off the looks, you'll just fall into the stereotypes. But
true.
They are very sure about the pronouns.
They are.
And I really like that. This is a great game. This is a good game. This game makes me feel good.
Yes.
Sleepers, always they, them, no matter what.
True. There are quite a few they, thems.
Yeah, there's
a lot of non-binary characters.
Hell yeah.
And some trans-coded characters, perhaps.
Some?
Yeah. Continuing.
Yeah. So we helped Sabine out get the fucking, what do we have to get for them?
We have to do intel, maybe?
Yeah, we have to get intel.
This is early in the game, folks.
This is early in the game. Hardly remember. We have to get intel and securing shipment for a stabilizer too.
Yes.
And they'll start giving you the stabilizer, but eventually they disappear.
Yes, and you learn that they're trying to gather intel on Yadigan because it's a corrupt organization, which does prove to be true in the end.
Right.
Yeah.
This is also where you meet Rabina.
Rabina sounds right.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
But you find out that Sabine is a whistleblower for Essen ARP.
Yes.
Revealed the sleeper program, which was unknown. So that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, actually a pretty important person to the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is now undercover working for a street gang, basically.
Right. Rabina concocts a plan with the sleeper to reveal Yarek's treachery.
Rabina's boss and Sabine's handler.
Yep, Sabine's handler, Yarek, the leader of the gang in this area.
Who you learn is literally a puppet of a corporation.
Not even a puppet. You learn is a zombie.
Basically, yes. Yes.
Right? Just a completely...
programmed and controlled. Yeah.
Mind empty, head filled with Essen ARP bullshit via this neurotransmitter.
Yeah. Horrifying stuff.
Yeah. Did you disable the transmitter?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
there's an option
absolutely.
Not to.
No, I absolutely did.
That makes no sense.
Yeah,
so
gross.
I disabled that.
That's gross. We're done with that.
Yeah. You shouldn't be a literal zombie, even in the actual ancient sense of the word zombie
Right.
for this fucking evil corporation.
And although these aren't my favorite characters, Sabine and Rubina do have a very cute queer ending.
They do. They end up to each other,
Yeah.
end up with each other. They're very cute. They're flirting all the time.
They have a very contentious relationship when they
Aw.
first start interacting in front of you, and then they end up being best buddies.
Yeah, Rubina's about to fucking kill
and then more
Sabine.
than best buddies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they're ending up together.
100%. Yes.
That's it's just so refreshing to have a game that's just normal.
Yes. Right.
The next character I have is Fang.
Fang, awesome. As we've already hinted, super cutie.
Big cutie.
Yeah.
Big fuck up, big cutie.
Big mess, but with a big heart.
Big heart.
And competent.
In my notes, Fang, he is the hottest character. That gets changed later. Don't worry.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I don't think. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
But mechanic.
Yep. Works for Havenage.
Works for Havenage, is a system info sort of person, an IT person who is doing all their monitoring systems and realize, hey, this one guy who's kind of in our top ranks is actually an old corporal person who committed crimes.
Yes, through Fang, you realize you learn the history of the Eye, this space station you're on, which used to be owned by a big evil corporation, the Solheim Corporation.
Yep.
And there was a wonderful a communist rebellion. What's that guy's name? The leader of the Erwin, right? Erlin
Or Ellen. Ellen?
I think it's Erlin.
Erlin.
Erlin. Like,
Okay.
It's Lenin. It's Lenin.
It's Lenin.
It's
It
Lenin.
is Lenin. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what's so great.
yeah.
It's Lenin, so that's why I never registered.
Yeah, awesome. So you learn that, and Fang's parents were absolutely used, abused, and crushed by this corporation,
Yeah, by
and so
some-
he
yeah.
has a personal vendetta against them. And it turns out one of their chief executives, one of the biggest baddies, somehow found himself within Havenage leadership and has kept himself alive for decades.
Yep.
Yeah. Creepy.
Also, Fang is an anarchist. He does not believe in hierarchy whatsoever.
Yes, very anti-hierarchy, very fun.
It's kind of funny, especially being part of Heaven Age. Heaven Age?
Havenage.
Havenage. Why do I say Heaven Age?
It's okay.
This is the fun fact. The first time I played this game, didn't catch any of this whatsoever.
Really? You skipped Fang?
No. It's more just like, didn't understand there was a union that took power and
Oh
there was
my
a
gosh.
corporation.
Yeah.
And none of it over my head.
That's
I wasn't
hilarious.
paying attention. I was depressed. I wasn't on antidepressants yet.
Understandable. There was a lot I missed in my first playthrough and on my second playthrough because I wasn't reading very carefully. But
It's hard.
Yes.
Be prepared for a lot of reading with this game.
Yes. If you,
Good reading.
really
But a
good
lot.
reading. But if you're having a hard time with something else and you're distracted, you might miss something important.
Yeah, you might miss
You might.
it. I love the part where Fang gets kicked out of his
Of
organization.
Yeah.
And he's working part-time at this noodle-to-go restaurant.
Yep.
And you're meeting him on his work break, and he's getting harassed by
Getting
his
yelled at by his
superior.
manager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. Fang is constantly forgetting things.
Yes.
It seems like. Just double booked.
Super hot mess and
Super hot
but
mess.
really good at what he does.
Really good,
Yeah.
and shows up when he needs to.
Yep. And with him, you, through a very long series of events with a whole lot of hacking and interfacing, as it's called in this game, you have the opportunity to expose this bad guy, which you do successfully. Pretty great storyline with Fang. I liked the ending. It was very satisfying, and it ultimately helps you hide from SNRP as they come after you.
Yeah, because you, not only do you have plan obsolescence,
Yeah.
you also have a tracker that gives your location, and you run into a fun man named Ethan.
Ugh. One of my least favorite characters. I mean, interesting, important to the story. He's the
Right.
he's the bounty hunter who's probably also a corporate slave. If you pursue his story, I'm sure you hear some sob story about why his life sucks. That's what I would assume. But I didn't bother
That's why
because
this game rules.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you that. I'll tell you that.
that's fun because fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy. No,
Yeah.
seriously, fuck this guy. And the
Yeah.
game thinks that too.
Good. Yeah, he's a bounty hunter. He's here to get you. It's his job, and that's his attitude. But he's even worse than that. He's not just here to come and get you. He's here to literally use you for slave labor so he can get wasted for weeks on end.
Yeah, he extorts you for credits for cryo.
Cryo, yeah.
Right, cryo,
not
which is-
credits. Yeah.
Air-walled shits.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
I love it when something's airwalled where it doesn't touch the internet. It's just this nebulous currency.
A lot of good little tech things.
It's so good
Yeah.
sci-fi. I love
Very good sci-fi.
and it's not intrusive. It
No.
really just flows naturally.
Very little woo-woo sci-fi. This is pretty.
Yeah.
This is pretty naturalist.
The thing that's fun about the Ethan stuff. So there is a person that's Merwick.
Yes, a bounty hunter gets sent after him.
Yeah, after Ethan
Maywick.
realizes Maywick.
Yeah.
After Ethan realizes, oh fuck, I didn't complete this contract fast enough.
Yes.
Now they're sending someone way worse. Ethan tries to convince you, hey, if you help me pay off my debt, I'll protect you.
Yeah,
He doesn't do that if you complete that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, because he's a piece of shit. He tries to join Maywick's side to get his job back.
Oh my god.
Because you actually can trust him. Because he is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Which
Good.
obvious, but
Glad I didn't bother.
yeah, no, most games would be cowards and say, well, he can be redeemed too.
Yeah.
No, he can't. Fuck him. And Maywick will kill him.
Excellent.
Like, no.
Yeah.
You're not a part of this.
What a waste!
Brat.
Yeah, what a waste of your time it would be to even bother with
And
that.
then Maywick
storyline.
will shoot the shit out of you. Something I experienced the first time this time. Complete breakdown.
Wow.
Lose all condition.
Wow.
But you still will survive.
Well, that's nice.
Yes.
But that's a rough situation.
yeah, mechanically, this game has a bar that's condition, which
Yes.
determines how many dice you roll at each day. If you have max condition, you can roll 5 dice every day. But it will start breaking down more and more, and you'll roll less dice and less dice. And if you're really breaking down, it starts exponentially getting bad. So you're only having 2 dice, but you can't do much to save yourself from the spiral.
Yeah.
But if you fully lose condition, you fully break down, what happens is one of your skills get locked.
Oh wow.
So
So you have permanent debuffs to your rolls in that field.
right, unless
Until
you
you-
spend an experience point to unlock that.
Wow.
So you'd have to spend an upgrade point, which you get upgrade points by completing drives.
quests.
Right. Well, this is the thing I want to talk about now.
Okay.
So drives.
Yeah.
It's interesting to come from playing Beam Saber, a game that has drives as things to complete to upgrade your character,
Yes.
and playing Citizen Sleeper, a game that has drives, the things to complete to upgrade your character.
Both of them being very closely tied to self-development and relations too.
Right, and also
Yeah.
being it's also funny being tied to, leftist podcasts that do tabletops that are involving these sort of games.
Yes.
And this coming out all from this interesting ecosystem. And I just like seeing that. I like seeing kind of like where the dots are like, oh, Citizen Sleeper feels like a Forge in the Dark game, which is a
Yes.
type of tabletop games that is very concerned with D6 and the actions you can do with them. Though I think Citizen Sleeper kind of mechanicalizes that very nice by like,
Yeah.
here are your dice that you get for the day. Use these dice for whatever actions you want. I think that's brilliant.
So good. It gives you a much better sense of, I think, time.
Yeah.
Like a day feels like a day every day.
Yep.
Because you have 5 actions.
Yep.
You get 5 actions, and they are successful or not based on how high you roll at the beginning of the day. There are abilities that let you reroll it once.
Yep.
You go about trying to complete tasks of varying risk with these dice that you're allowed.
I've been playing a lot of Stardew, and in Stardew, you can start maximizing your time by making sure you do things in the right order. You can't do this in this game. You already have the order.
Yeah.
You just got to put the order in the right place for
Yes.
yourself, which I think is really cool.
It works.
I want to talk about Tala, the
Yeah.
owner of the Overlook Bar.
A character I totally ignored in my first playthrough. And
Really?
Yeah, I was like, pay for drinks. I can't afford that. And then
Who has money to pay
yeah,
for drinks?
I was struggling. So I started this relationship with this character in my second playthrough, and she became one of my all-time favorites.
I love her.
I was kind of sad that my character wasn't going to finish their story with Tala, but it's a good story, and I really like her. She's nice. She's very supportive. She
So
stands up for
supportive.
you when basically no one else will.
Yep.
Yeah.
She has the vibe of, I don't care who the fuck you are, just don't cause issues.
Yeah. True ally. Pretty awesome.
True ally. Yeah, true
Yeah.
ally.
Yeah.
I like, though, did you get to the end where she joins the flotilla?
I did, yes.
That made me sad.
And she gives you the keys to the bar so that if you stay, which is what I chose to do, you get to be the bar manager, which is such a good role for the sleeper as like a home base kind of thing.
Yeah, but also
I loved
fucking Tala.
Yeah, sad to say goodbye. But she's going to go see her brother. She's got a mission. I'm happy for my friend to have a mission.
Yeah, I'm happy for her to like try to find her brother who she's been missing from this
Resolve some trauma. Hopefully.
I hope, man.
Yeah.
Resolving trauma, good thing to do.
Good character.
I kind of noticed this game in general is skeptical about hierarchies.
Yes.
This feels like it has
the one
anarchist perspective.
Yeah, it definitely does. This is a game where you live in a society where the commune is failing. Where the union is this trade union society is failing, and all of the characters whose stories I think end with the most personal success are they have an anarchist bent.
Yep,
pretty much all of them,
except for a glaring one.
Okay,
the Haifa commune.
Yeah, but even then,
that's true. There's no leader.
What's her name? Rita.
Yeah,
yeah. You don't have a leader, but she is definitely more invested in the earth. She's kind of an eco-communist.
Yeah,
she's so maybe an eco-anarcho-communist, but definitely a communist. But she doesn't really have any authority, and she's definitely. I mean, there's
no hierarchy in the structure of itself, and it's just confined to just this area. And and like you get a cheeky achievement like, oh, you join a commune. It's communism.
Yeah,
it's like
it's definitely celebrating that angle. But I would classify this an anarcho-communist game. For sure.
Exactly. I think a very leftist, but more focused on anarchism than communism, which is fine. I prefer this than 99% of all games that are released.
Absolutely.
If I slightly quibble here and there with it's a conception of society.
For sure.
I mean, we're talking about it. Should we talk about the Greenway area?
Yeah, it's the second half of the map. Basically, you unlock it by spending a lot of cryo.
Oh my god, so much money to cross that toll.
Yes, but once you pay it once, you get to keep cryo. Which that was my first. It took me a long time to bother paying for it because I was like, I have to pay 120 cryo to cross this gap every time, and then you pay it once and you're good. But yeah, it's really cool. There's a commune on the other side. There's a true commune on the other side where you work as much as you can and you get paid. You get fed. You get a home.
Yeah, you don't get paid. You get specifically fed, which is really cool.
Yeah. You've got farms that feed most of the space station, and you can. And
it doesn't feed most of the space station. It just feeds that area. They don't really trade amongst that. They
do some trade with the other side, I guess,
but not much.
Yeah,
that's the thing about it. It's like they're confined because people think they're weird.
They are. And that's why I love them. Specifically, the one Haifa character you get to meet,
which is weird.
Weird. It's kind of a bummer. There are a lot of locations within the Greenway, and you get one character. Helps you discover self-sustainability, which is pretty wonderful. You get she helps you create a fungal garden that you can use to feed yourself and create your own stabilizer. You can make your own medicine. In the late game.
Improve your condition, stop the planned obsolescence. This is Rico, the botanist.
Rico, okay.
Mushrooms are her favorite thing. She's a mycologist, really. She's not a botanist. We kind of hinted at that.
Yeah, because the game gives you an achievement when you complete that storyline that you find sustainability through botany, and the whole thing's about mushrooms. And maybe we should segue to Emphas.
Let's hit Emphas real quick, and then let's go back to Rico because I want to talk about the end of that Greenway. But Emphas is great.
Emphas is just a little guy. He's a big little guy. He's a little guy in the story.
Also hot, too. A lot of hot characters in this game. I'm not going to lie. It's like...
Sexy Cook says very little. You find out he was a heavy, hard-working mech pilot.
Not a mech pilot, an exosuit.
Exosuit pilot.
He had a giant arm, an exosuit arm that was drilled into his body.
Both arms.
I thought it was just the one arm, but
both
I could be wrong.
arms.
Okay,
But yeah,
both
it's a
arms.
full suit that was drilled straight into your. They call them bone suits.
Bone suits.
Yeah, which you only learn after consistent business that you do with Emphas, purchasing his far more nutritious food than the food you can get from the other location, which specifically is.
I love Talo's just like, yeah, these rations
Yeah,
do suck. I'm
they're
sorry.
not that good, yeah, but they're cheap. But Emphasis food you can actually taste.
Yep.
As a robot, you can eat anything really, apparently. But the food that you can actually taste is from this mushroom cook's stall.
Yeah, and unrealistic. Mushrooms are gross, but whatever. I'll accept it.
I this was very easy for me to invest in. I love mushrooms. I like to forage. I'm not good at it, but I like to, and I love cooking them. And hearing the descriptions of these meals being crafted as
So
you
good.
exchange stories with this character, which is really that's all the interaction you really get is exchanging life stories. But by investing in this relationship, you occasionally get a free meal. And you get to learn a lot more about your character.
Yeah.
Because they tell stories, and this is how you find out about your own little glimpses into your background.
And this is one of the avenues. There's a few others I would say too, where you get these glimpses in how a sleeper thinks.
Yeah.
How a sleeper reflects upon themselves. And I think it's just some of the best writing.
It's some of the most
best writing
interesting.
where it's just like,
And when it explores the sci-fi elements,
yeah,
and what it's like to have a consciousness that's made of wires is really interesting.
and have a consciousness that knows, oh yeah, this taste receptacle is specifically lighting up my brain, so it feels like taste. But I know this is artificial.
Yeah,
but it still makes me happy.
Being conscious of the illusion while simultaneously participating in reality is really interesting.
It really just. It is a person who embraces the artifice about themselves to experience life in a different way that is fulfilling to them.
One of my favorite AI stories of all time. This game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is kind of an AI story. I never even thought about that before because honestly, it doesn't feel like one.
And we'll talk about a couple other AIs in a minute, I think. But we should return to our friend at Haifa.
Yeah, let's to Rico and the Greenway.
The Greenway, yes.
Where eventually you learn there is this sentient AI, speaking of AI, called the Gardener.
Yes.
Who integrated with a sleeper at some point in its life and has started developing mushrooms to help sleepers. This is how you get the mushrooms to make the stability drug, the stabilizer.
It's amazing. Apparently, this entire ecosystem maintained on this space station is controlled and managed by an AI gardener that controls millions, apparently, a swarm of subsystems.
Not a swarm, a chorus.
A chorus that swarms.
Yeah,
through. It's also described a couple times as a river. And it's all these little subsystems that work together in a beautiful natural harmony that is nevertheless also technological to guide this extremely complex ecosystem. And it also specifically caters itself to you, which is really special.
Yeah, well, not that it caters itself, but that it carves an outlet
for
that
you.
It considers a more expansive view of what is sentience and what is life.
Yes.
And creates a way for sleepers to exist in this community.
It's really wonderful.
I love it.
It's an ending you can choose. You can choose to become one with this entity.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's not my choice of ending, but
No.
it's a cool one to experience.
Yeah, so the premise of this is really cool where Rico is there holding your hand as a anchoring point for you to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
And you get asked by the gardener, hey, do you want to join our chorus of sentience? Do you want to become one with us? And you can choose to either break the thread and join the chorus or follow the thread back to Rico's warmth.
Yes.
And
the
I think
human connection. And that choice is so beautiful.
it's so good. It's so good going back and saying, hey, I may be hurting in this world.
Yeah.
But these connections are so important to me that I don't want to lose them no matter what.
It's a rejection of the void.
Yeah.
You could choose to become nothing. And maybe that's okay in some to become one with a greater something.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
To choose to invest in your bonds.
Yep.
To choose to invest in your attachments. That's the word I'm looking for. that's kind of the choice you make here if you reject becoming one
Right,
with the Greenway.
And the Greenway isn't seen as a selfish sort of choice.
No, not really.
It's seen as a next step of life.
Sure.
But, I don't know, it hits so much harder when you choose to not become one.
Yes.
And you decide to stay on the eye.
There's so much work to do.
And this is a consistent pattern that happens throughout the entire game. It's almost always better to stay on the eye and be a part of the community that you're a part of.
Yep.
As opposed to leaving it. Should we talk about Lem and Mina?
Yes, we should. I think I'd be willing to put money on them being everyone's favorite story or most people's favorite storyline.
It would be hard to not be.
Yeah. I guess he's a refugee in some capacity, isn't he?
He is.
A relatively recent refugee who has adopted a little girl whose parents were killed.
Yep. Was part of the corporation that killed her parents.
Yes, and dropped everything, left his life as a mercenary, I think, to take care of this little girl, Mina. And you meet him as he's trying to scramble and scrap together a job working for a construction job on a massive colony ship that you eventually find out is
a scam.
Owned by libertarians.
Yeah.
The most disgusting breed of politics. And they scam and use these workers, these people, in the most horrible way by promising them a chance at freedom.
On a new planet, in a generation ship.
A whole new world. And all you have to do is help us build our ship, and then maybe you'll get a chance to take care of us while we sleep in cryostasis until we get to the planet. And you'll be an old person, but hey, you'll get to be on the new planet with us.
Or you'll die on the way, and I don't have to worry about it.
Or you'll die on the way.
Or, here's the funny fact. Actually, none of you are getting it. It was actually among members of our union, specifically.
Yes,
our libertarian union, that actually get it.
After helping construct this beautiful ship, this massive colony ship, after babysitting little Mina so that Lem can go pick up a few extra shifts and get on the fast track to actually winning a place on the ship, you learn, nope, none of you are getting on this boat. It is strictly for the people who we brought here.
A scene that really sticks out to me is when you are at the raffle at the lottery.
Yeah.
And Lem is holding Mina and whatnot, and you start to realize, oh, none of us are going to get it, and things are about to get bad.
Yep.
And you have to get Lem to get out of there. It's so minor. It's not really consequential even. But there's this sense of dread that's so encapsulated perfectly. You get a feeling things are about to go bad, and you need to protect the people that you're with.
So you get out of there. Yep. And I got to say, I think that was the moment that, for me, made me think that the story, if I continued to try and get on that boat, which you can choose to try and do, I assumed, well, all these people are mad. There's something at play here. This is a messed up program run by messed up people. Everything else about this game is revolutionary and power to the people. I wanted the workers to take the colony ship and make it their own, and I thought that's where the story was going, and I was completely wrong. You can end this story by a few different ways. Should we talk about that?
Yeah.
One way is to get on that boat with Lem and Mina, which is the original ending I chose. That's the first ending I chose.
You get this man named Castor to help you out to figure out what's suspicious about this libertarian anarcho-capitalist paradise.
He's going to help you investigate it. And because I thought we were getting this help from this character who does help you earlier or can help you earlier, I assumed, okay, we're going to do something. We're going to make this right. And you don't. You get on the boat, and the ending is Lem eventually dies on his way to the planet, never makes it. You are not able to be maintained over the course of your trip across the stars, and Mina spends her life trying to keep you and Lem alive and eventually has to give up and goes on, and you live in her memory. And I wept. I wept as I read that ending.
And it's not a terrible ending. It's sad in its own sort of way, but it's not the good ending if I were to argue it.
It's not the good ending.
What I did this second playthrough is I broke the passes for the ship and didn't let Lem know at all I even had them.
Which I think that was a decision that was too hard for me to not give my friend the choice.
Yeah.
That hurt. But
Sometimes-
knowing what the choice was a disaster, which I thought I would be able to circumvent anyway. Absolutely, I wouldn't have done that.
It also feels like one of those examples of your friend wants something that if you really step back and rationally look at the situation, like,
Sometimes your friends are wrong.
sometimes your friends are wrong.
Yeah.
And it's important to know when they're wrong. It's important to look at Mina because you get a lot of hints throughout all the watching stuff. Mina
True.
loves it here on the eye.
Yeah.
Mina loves you. Mina loves her friends. Mina loves her life here. Mina loves this place. She doesn't want anything better because there is nothing better. It's this place.
Yes. And I think I didn't recognize that because in my head, Lem and Mina are still on the station.
Yep.
They are with me. We love each other very much, and we're a family.
And I made the same choices the
In
first
my
time
head.
I played the game
Yeah.
too, where I sent Lem and Mina off.
Yep.
Oh, they wanted the ticket all along. I'll stay. They go. This is perfect for them.
Yep.
Being a fool, not realizing, oh no, wait, this is bad actually.
Yep.
Should we talk about Caster since we mentioned Caster?
Yeah, he's a game-playing,
Data broker.
string-pulling data broker. And he ends up betraying you in the DLC.
Oh my god. So yeah, you get his help early on
Yes.
by giving him data about the different faction activity.
And he plays off your knowledge that yet again in Haven Gate, they both got problems, don't they? Yeah, both sides of this spectrum of politics, they've got problems, don't they? Let's spy on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses the fact that both of them are kind of fucking annoying to deal with
And problematic.
and problematic
Yeah.
to his advantage. Which, good on him. Shifty, but, not harmful. When you turn away, don't accept his offer to spy via the colony ship,
Yeah.
he says, hey, I respect that you chose this place. If you think you have more use helping the eye here, that's fine. I'm glad to have you in the community.
And because using you is what he wants. And he makes that very clear in the end.
Yep, your
Yes.
use.
You are usable, and he is a corporate asset seeking usable objects.
Yeah.
Pretty devastating. We should talk about Flux. Unless we have other...
There's some more characters I think
Okay.
we should go through.
Uh,
Bliss.
yeah, Bliss.
We can quickly go through
Yeah.
Bliss.
Another hot mess.
Who isn't?
Yeah. Located on the hub, the very center of this space station where there's mostly zero-G. Bliss is a specialist in scrapping and deconstructing and repairing ships. And
She has an assistant named
Moritz.
who is
Yeah.
the best character.
And Moritz is super cute, super sweet.
Adorable.
Rough and tumble kid just trying to do his best.
Yep.
And you can help them through a series of very difficult jobs that almost never pan out immediately.
Yep.
Like you have to invest a lot of time and money and resources into helping them. And it does pay off in a very big way at the end.
But
But it's a lot of suffering before that.
you got to be fast too.
You got to be fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better save for late game.
Better stay for late game. It's very chaotic. Bliss has a bad ex who's evil to her.
Yeah.
But also Bliss is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
So, who's stringing me along? Both of you is the actual answer.
There's the mercenary.
Yeah, Akita.
Akita, you help her fix her ship. You
Her
watch.
storyline's hard.
It's hard. She makes bad decisions.
Yeah, she's evil.
She's a mercenary.
Yep.
She's a get the job done and kill innocent people
Yeah.
person is what you find out. And
Or kill anyone who betrays me.
anyone who betrays me, yes. It made me very sad. I rejected her money.
Yeah, so
I-
to give the brief notes, you have to track down her former associate who stole her ship mind. Yeah, which is an AI core to help ships fly better. And you come to find out he stole that ship mind to reboot the sleeper he was in love with,
Yes.
and she kills him.
She kills him. And
But he was going to kill her too, though. That is also very clear because I guess he knows she was going to kill him.
He knew who she was.
Yep,
And who
and
she
she
was
was-
sucks.
Yep.
Yeah. And she comes back later.
Yep, teams up with Bliss to get the fuck out of here, and Bliss leaves.
Yeah.
You get a chance to leave. Did you leave with them?
Fuck no.
No!
I mean, I
That's like
definitely.
nightmare.
I mean, you can choose to leave with them and then immediately go back and make a different choice because you
Yeah.
can. The game saves right before you make that choice.
I didn't do it
And
even.
I did it just to see what happens. Like, oh, okay. You leave with them and okay. Like that's
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you leave with them and maybe it'll be okay.
The proposal
Who
was
fucking cares?
so rancid.
Yeah.
And I actually
Yeah.
think it's fitting that it's like, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you do this?
Yeah, they're two characters you form very little real
They're
bond
the
with.
most shallow relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
And
Goodbye.
Kita offers you money after you kill her friend in the sleeper.
Yep.
It's like, here, do you want this? And you have the choice to turn it down or to keep it.
You better fucking turn it down.
Fucking turn that
A
blood
life
shits
is
down.
worth more than that, is what
Yeah.
the game tells you.
And it's true.
It is.
That's like a very powerful line.
Yep.
Man, that moment rules.
And that's so. While we don't like the character all that much, I'm glad this character is in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It fills out the eye of its specter of morality. Should we talk about Neurovend?
Yes,
And
of
the
course. Yes, so there's another arc. Another sentient character you meet is an AI trapped in a vending machine. They've trapped themselves,
Yep.
severed parts of themselves to fit in a vending machine to hide from an ancient system, a very old system
Yeah.
from the company that formerly owned this space station that's used to regulate, control, and destroy rogue AIs on the space station.
Quote unquote illegals, which powerful.
Illegals, yes.
Illegal sentient.
Yes.
Which, man, fucking evil.
Yeah, good analogies here, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Allegory, sorry. Good allegory.
You're right.
Yeah.
You should know, English teacher.
Yeah.
I like that it's a 3D printer. It's a vending machine that's a 3D printer for spaceship parts.
Yes.
Which rules. That's
Pretty
so
cool.
cool.
Pretty cute. And the design's pretty cute.
Yeah, this AI is like called the Hunter, and every time you try to hack, it's hunting you.
Yes. Not the AI in the vending machine, the AI that you're running from, hiding from.
In the eye.
Yes, and you spend a lot of time hacking your way around the eye, to get around this hunter and find a solution to stop it, and then stop the protocol that it summons, the killer AI, which is pretty cool. It's a sick design. It's
The
like
killer's cool. It's like a
dog
blade.
with a blade shark head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it moves like a shark.
Yes. Wonderful.
I love it. Yeah, but this vending machine becomes an entity called the Navigator.
Yes.
Once it becomes infuses with a ship mind, it becomes something that can navigate the eye.
Yes. And
I love it.
It shows up towards the end to help you just a little bit.
Yep. It connects you to the Greenway too. It's the only way to get the Greenway is to get the Navigator.
Which is so interesting. I love that to finish the biological storyline, to finish the nature storyline, you also have to finish the computer science storyline.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Did you kill the killer or did you trap it forever?
I sadly trapped it forever. I was hoping there'd be a way to help it, and then the AI,
Maybe there is. That's the epilogue,
and maybe
right?
there will be. Yeah, and then the navigator tells you, you really should have just put this thing down. It's miserable. It's gonna be miserable forever now.
Yeah, you trap it in this
An endless loop.
an endless webbed loop where it is like popping out of the sphere of loops
Yeah,
as like a shark fin. It's so
aesthetically
cool.
pretty cool.
I fucking love the way this game describes hacking.
Great
and the
narration.
the
Wonderful
interface.
narration.
Is it time for refugees?
Now it's time for the refugees.
It's the DLC time. Flux,
Yes.
the other two.
And, yeah, and Jesus, man, it's a refugee crisis. And so
Yeah.
the moment I found out there was a refugee crisis, I clicked past all the warnings. Don't play this until you're ready. You have to finish everything else, then do. No, fuck that. I gotta save the refugees. They need to eat mushrooms. So
They need shrooms.
They need my mushrooms. So yeah, I fucked my playthrough by starting this catastrophic chain of events, where you're trying to help a refugee flotilla fleeing some unknown event called the Flux.
Yep.
A disruption of technology, almost like an EMP pulse.
It's like an EMP pulse with a vengeance.
Yes.
It has a grudge. Its grudge score is really high, and
Yeah.
it's because it's a corporation. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
It's
spoiler
a corporation trying to reassert its dominance over systems.
Yeah, it's not a natural force. They are literally trying to wipe you out so they can better control the star system.
Fucked up.
Absolutely disgusting.
They have access to this teleporter on the eye and in the sun.
Yes.
And so they're trying to establish connection, and that connection is causing these EMP waves.
Very intentionally, you learn from
Yep.
Castor. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Castor being a part of it killed me.
So you have to meet and help these two people who are trying to help the flotilla, Peak and Esh.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are very interesting characters.
They're like some of the greatest characters in this fucking game.
Absolutely. And boy, does the game feel the same way, because you
Yep.
read a lot of dialogue related to these two characters.
I think this came out a year and a half after the game originally
wow.
released. This
Okay.
is a victory lap.
Yes.
And holy shit, this game has some of the best writing in it.
Yeah.
I get why the paragraphs are a bit longer, but also
It's great.
I don't mind it.
No, Peak is wonderful.
Best character of the game.
Non-binary, I think hacker, I think neurodivergent coded character, misunderstood and socially maladjusted their whole life.
Yep.
And trying really, really hard from a really, really difficult background, a place where life sucks for everybody.
Oh yeah, they're from the not the Ember Steps, but they're from KSP, I believe, or something like that. Some corporation
EXP,
station.
yeah.
Oh, XCP.
XCP, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
KSP. That's Kerbal
Another
Space
shitty
Program.
corporation that's apparently even worse than the one that was in charge of the space station long ago.
And it seems like it had a former connection to Sondheim too.
Yes.
Like a nebulous sort
As
of
apparently
one.
most companies in this area did.
It's weird. Corporations seem to have a lot of bleed through with each other.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Almost like they work together to control and monopolize power. Anyway, Peak, wonderful, super cool character who grows.
Yes.
Over the short time you know them quite a lot. They separate from this powerful force, Esh.
Yeah.
Who has apparently been their caretaker friend for years.
guardian.
Protector, guardian friend. And Peak grows beyond that character by the end of the story. It's beautiful.
The Ash is so focused on helping the flotilla to be ship ready, to
Yes.
escape and continue moving on, while Peak is trying to find a way to defend against the flux.
Yep.
To defend against the oncoming force, to protect the eye.
To
and
help
his-
even this place that it was supposed to be a transient stop for them.
Yep.
But these are innocent people too. And Peak's
So
going to
good.
help them.
Peak's going to help them. And
Yeah.
fuck.
And
so-
fuck, yeah. In my
fuck.
headcanon, Peak is my partner at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
either Peak or Lem for me.
Yeah.
That's the two choice, or it's Peak and Lem, which
There
would
you go.
make
Yeah,
more sense.
I love that actually. That's in my head. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's I'm also with Lem. I'm
Yeah.
helping Lem out with Mina, but I'm also with Peak, and Peak comes around too as
Absolutely.
a cool relative, and
Yes.
we're all having a good time. And so you build up, help the Greenway become powerful enough to withstand the flux, which is so cool.
Yeah, you sneak supplies to the refugees. So you do some smuggling, some fun space stuff. You have to do this big elaborate plan with very tight timing and lots of resource stretching. You have to eventually, in the second part, help
The flotilla
help
itself.
the flotilla itself not just repair but change, become
Yeah.
something different, because it cannot remain, these cultures cannot remain the same forever, and they must work together. You find out the flotilla is made up of very diverse groups.
Yeah, they were part of a moon system. They
Yeah.
were like Ember, Step, Hearth, and Song.
Yes, 3 very poorly terraformed moons.
Yes.
Uh,
One of them terraformed, kind of. The other terraformed a little bit, and the other one, not at all.
Yeah, basically not at all. Resource extraction exclusively planet.
Yep.
Um,
I like the conflict that Peter and the Ember, I believe, Song wants to leave.
yes, some of the flotilla does not want to remain a part of the
Did
flotilla.
you encourage Peter to leave?
I did.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they had good justification. They had the right to leave.
Yeah.
And
They were just a bunch of anarchists who were in the communist state, and they really should just go off and do their own thing.
yes,
That's how I felt.
they had their vibe did not match at all the other two cultures.
And that's fine.
it does.
Let them
It is
go,
fine.
though.
Yes, let them go. And hopefully they find a place where there are not already people.
Yes, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Let them be in a paradise in Eden.
Yeah.
Peter's great. Soul's great. Soul's trying to keep it together.
The leader of the most powerful settlement,
Hearth.
the best terraformed planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do love Dune. I like the novel Dune.
Oh, Dune. Yeah, Dune. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
the other moon step.
The Ember Step is
the Ember
just
Step
doing
is
Dune.
Yes, it's just doing Dune.
They're in a desert and they have still suits.
Yeah. Still suit. They have a very like the life forms that they harvest are coiled snake like plants that live in the sand. Yeah,
I do
Something like
love that the leader just says, "Hey, we need to evolve because this is bad.
Yeah,
this
we're fucked.
Sucks.
Yeah, we're a culture that evolved on a planet that we can't live on anymore, and our ship was made to simulate that environment,
and we can't live in that.
It wasn't even a livable environment. I don't know why we're doing this. We need to change." And you do.
So
you
good.
help them grow gardens instead.
Yep. And I like that Rico helps with that.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's good.
Gosh. And so the end is, hey, you have to choose to go with the flotilla.
Yep.
Or stay at the eye and hope your defenses can ride up the flux.
Yeah, and you don't even necessarily you get a narrative of what happens.
And kind of don't know.
Yeah,
which I love.
There's so many open-ended elements to the story. While you do get a lot of resolution.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
I've never played this DLC, the whole Flux DLC, and when I finished it, I cried. I was like, damn, this is some of the most beautiful game writing I've ever seen in any game whatsoever.
Absolutely.
I love the narrativization of surviving the Flux and how cycles pass and the community you make and how things change, but also some things are fundamentally true, and you and Peak are, there for each other.
So many characters are there for each other,
yep.
and you get to be there for them, and you feel it. God, how many games do you actually feel a bond with
community?
With a community.
There's one thing to have bonds with characters. That's common.
Yeah.
That comes and go.
Sure.
What about bonds with a community?
Yeah. Wanting to see the people all be together.
Yeah, I want the eye to thrive.
Me too.
The eye is a place.
Yeah.
It exists. It's real. It has a material existence to it.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that in games.
Right. It's almost like you're immersed in the world, right? It's like it has this sense of immersion where you really feel like you're there and it's real.
It's more just it uses real materialism along with its characters, and they have to live in that and kind of find a spot in these systems that makes them feel real.
Absolutely.
God, what a game.
What a game. We recommend it, friends.
Should we get into some questions?
Yes, we should.
Okay, so we're now moving to our final segment. Ooh.
Yay.
So we like to answer questions on this show, questions about the game or gaming in general. Let's go into our first batch. Caesar asks, what makes Citizen Sleeper so good compared to other games like this? What mechanics from this game would you like to see in other games?
The clocks.
I like clocks.
I like progress clocks as well as day count clocks. Making that a regular part of the game and not like a once or twice in your game you have a countdown. Making time really matter is something that I like about this game.
I love it when games make time matter.
Yeah.
They should do that more.
Yeah, it's stressful in a lot of games. This one I think the stress is manageable, so I'd like to see more like that.
Would you add anything more to enhance, or is there anything you would change or /remove from this game? I don't think I'd remove anything.
No, I would whine about not having enough warnings about certain certain things happening in certain orders, but that's dumb. This is a very replayable game. This is a game you want to replay, and if you make a mistake, that's part of the game.
Yep. Yeah, I don't... It's hard to say what I would want changed about the game when I love it so much.
Yeah, no change.
Voice
acting. I'd love voice acting.
Yeah, maybe voice
acting. That'd be cool to be added, but other than that, no.
What would you play after Citizen Sleeper? So I guess if you haven't played Disco Elysium, played this, play that.
Definitely Disco Elysium, and be on the lookout for Citizen Sleeper 2, which is being made and new stuff being announced shortly,
soon.
Apparently. Yeah.
Norco. I say Norco.
I haven't finished it, so I can't say.
You need to finish Norco. I think it does this game, but
okay.
I like this game a lot. I love this game. I also really love Norco, and Norco just hits harder for me. Maybe that's from being a repressed Christian.
And I just need to play it.
Next, Spectre Socialism asks, who is your most hated character? And Kita for me.
Yeah. Ethan sucks, but she's
not
bad.
like her. Yeah.
She's bad.
Yeah.
I almost wish she had it harder in the ending.
She gets off too easy.
Yeah.
But she is no longer a merc, which is interesting. That has changed her.
She has changed. Maybe she'll be a better person.
I don't want to be there for it.
Maybe she gets to be a better person. I'm just glad she's not doing it on the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to deal with her.
Yeah.
She can be a better person, but it's not on me to be around her when she's a better person.
Bingo.
Who is your most loved character?
Ooh.
Peak, for me.
Probably Peak, or Mina. I love little kids.
Mina's a good little kid.
I love kids. But no, Peak. Peak's the best.
Yeah, Mina's so good, though. Mina is just adorable. Gets it.
The first time you talk to her babysitter, she asks, "Are you a robot?" And you can say, "Yeah, kinda." And she responds, "Me too."
Yeah,
it's so
good. It's so good.
So cute.
What part of the game always breaks your heart?
Oh,
it's the Inkita stuff for me, really.
That's hard. If you make the mistake of going with Lemon Mina on that fucking ship,
that breaks your heart.
That's heartbreaking. That ending is utterly heartbreaking. Yeah.
What puts it back together?
Knowing that that's not what really happened. They stayed on the eye. Happily ever after. For me, that's definitely what happened. That and
I would say the Greenway would be my original answer, but it honestly is finishing the DLC while staying on the eye.
Yep, that's agreed. That staying on the eye and
always
and seeing how wonderful that's going to be, beautiful and terrifying. That's what puts it back together.
Complex.
Yes.
Max asks, what aspect of the game do you enjoy the most? Why?
Ooh. Definitely the growth that you experience as a character and that you see in other characters. The aspect of this game I love the most is learning sustainability, self-improvement, and learning that those things best are achieved through helping other people.
Yeah, it's really that sense of community. It's just so good. It just is so tight. It just feels so fulfilling.
Absolutely.
Additionally, the reverse, which aspect did you not enjoy?
Just personally for ADHD brain, it's a lot of reading.
It's a lot of reading.
I think, something I love from Disco that would be good in this game actually would be like highlights, more italics,
of like names, and things.
Emphasis on certain phrases, and again, voice acting.
Yeah.
I think that would help, but it's not necessary. It's just it's the game that it's a part of the game that I struggled with personally the most was paying attention to every word of all that reading.
Yeah. I would say for me is I didn't enjoy when it was over and I didn't have more to play. It's really the corny fucking
there's not more. Yeah.
I'm sad that it's over.
Yeah.
When really there's going to be more for me. I just I got to wait. I got to be patient.
Yeah, we just have to wait till Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah, exactly. Xander asks, The overall theme of the game being transhumanism, disposable labor, and surviving with a disability in a world built by and for capital. Did this game accomplish its message for you?
Fucking absolutely.
Yeah, I think it nails it.
Yeah, no further comment. I think, yeah.
Were there any other games that said message accomplishes better? Have you ever experienced a game that accomplished this message better?
No.
Yeah.
No. I've never played a game that deals with disability this closely, this intimately, and and handles it this well. I've never played a game that handled non-binary identities this well.
Yeah.
I've never played a game that handles the sense of community this well. So, yeah. So much that this game does better than any other game I've played.
It truly is wild. I feel like there should be more games of this, and maybe there are, and I'm not aware of them.
Yeah.
If we are speaking out of our ass, and you are listening to this, please let me know so I can play those.
Share more games like this with us, please.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
We don't know, like, this is indie, but this is popular indie. This is an itch.io down in the dirty wells indie.
Yeah.
Last question comes from Dale. What kind of robot arms would you like to have IRL?
This is the best question.
Rolling my fucking eyes.
Oh, we miss you, Dale.
Saying it like he's dead. We miss you, Dale.
We miss you, Dale. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Robot arms.
I would like to have one that turns into a blade. This just seems useful.
Yeah. I really like Adam's arms in the Deus Ex Human Revolution game. I like those black, muscular fiber arms that also flip into blades.
Yeah. And other things?
Other things, too. I don't know. They shoot pellets or something.
Yeah.
I barely remember. But, yeah, those are neat.
Adam Jensen. I didn't ask for this. All right. That is it for this month. Next month, Uncle, what are we playing? You chose this game.
I was like, what are we playing? Next month, we are playing This War of Mine, which is going to hit us hard, right in the gut. It is a topical game, friends.
Yeah.
It came out years ago. 10 years old now, this game is.
Yep.
And it, all eyes on Rafa, friends.
Yeah.
End of that statement.
Well, as we like to do recently, we like to end a bit of a downer, but, it is important to know.
Yeah.
That's just straight truth. It's a bummer, but, don't be blind to it. Know what's going on and understand what imperialism looks like.
Invest in your community and invest in global communities that need your investment.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, until next time, we'll see you next month.
Goodbye!
Oh, my God.